Welcome to the next video in the Breakthrough Product Creation series. And in this video, we're actually going to be putting together your WSO sales page thread. So I know the first thing a lot of you guys are going to want to do when putting together your thread is to come to the Warrior Forum and then head to the Warrior Special Offers section and then click on Create a New WSO. I know that makes sense, but that's not actually what you want to do. If you do it this way, you are forced to use the Warrior Payments button, and we want to use Warrior Plus instead of Warrior Payments. So the way you're gonna create this thread, underneath this video that you're watching right now, we're gonna leave a link, and if you just click on that link, it's gonna bring you directly to the page you need to be at to create the thread. So when you click on that link, it is gonna bring you straight to this page right here. Once you're on this page, the first thing you need to do is come up with the title of your thread. Basically, when coming up with the title, you just want to make sure it's something that captures their attention, make sure it's something that they're going to want to click on, but also make sure you make it clear what this is going to be about. You know, there's a lot of people that do blind titles to force people to click on it. Personally, I don't really like doing that. I want to make sure they know what it's about. So say if it's about list building, I make sure I have the word list building in there. If it's about traffic, I make sure I have the word traffic in there. For this example I'm going to give you guys, it's going to be through my viral blogging blueprint book, and so I'm going to make sure viral blogging is in my title. So an example title I would do here is forget about SEO, let's go viral. Okay, so that would be a example title. Once you get your title down, it's time to move on to actually filling out the content area. Now I'm going to use the sales copy that we went over in the example in a few videos ago. So if we head over to here, the first thing we need is our headline. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that headline. And by the way, sorry if this video is all over the place. When you do this part, when you put together your sales thread, you know, it kind of might be all over the place. There's a lot of things you need to tinker with to see how it looks, and so you guys are going to kind of get to watch me tinker with things, try to make things look better. And this is what you guys are going to do too. You know, if you decide your headline would look better bigger, then go ahead and make it bigger. If you think it'd look better smaller, go ahead and make it smaller. A lot of this is completely personal preference, whatever you prefer. So you're going to watch me do this based on what I prefer to do. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that headline right there. I'm going to bold it. I'm going to make it, try font size 5. And I always go with red headlines. Those always seem to convert the best. Once you do, actually, let's make sure it's centered also. Once I get that done, let's go ahead and preview the post. Okay, so there it is right there. In this instance, since my headline is pretty short, I think it would look better if that was bigger. So let's go ahead and change that to font size 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put 6 right there. And we're going to preview that and see how it looks. Okay, that looks a little better. I'm actually going to go one more bigger and see what that looks like. So let's try font size 7 here. Okay, I think with my short headline like that, font size 7 looks the best. Again, this is something that you're going to want to play around with, whatever you think looks best. So the next thing we want to do is put in my sub headline. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and head over to here and paste that in. I'm going to bold it, and let's try font size 5 to start off with this one, and we're actually going to keep this black, the text color black. Also want to center it. Let's preview to see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I will leave it at that. The next thing we want to do is, so the next section 3 was the buy button. We do not want to put in the buy button quite yet. We will do that when we launch the product. So in the meantime, what I like to do is just in all caps, right, buy button goes here, and then center it. That way on launch day, all I have to do is come where it says buy button goes here. I just have to go there and paste in the code for the buy button. I don't have to go looking around to see where to put it. You know, it's just right there. So once I get that in, next section, I'm gonna copy that, go ahead and paste it in. Now if you go ahead and look at it, I had Brian Harkins bolded, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to bold that. Okay, next thing was a picture. Now you're going to need to host your picture somewhere. I like to include the picture myself right from the start, so you're going to need to host your picture somewhere. If you want to host it on your own server, you are more than welcome to. I personally like hosting them on tinypic.com because when you upload it to tinypic.com, they automatically give you the image code for forums and message boards. So I went ahead and uploaded there, and now I just got to copy that link right there and paste it in right here. Come back over. Now I'm going to copy this entire section, copy it, and paste it in. Now at this point, I would come back here and I would go through, see what I had bolded, what I had underlined, what I had italicized, and I would go ahead and go through and bold, underline, and italicize those things. Now I don't think I need to waste your guys' time going through that and showing you how to do that on video. You know the buttons are right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, then go do all that, and then come back. Okay, so I will see you in a second. Okay, so I went ahead and made all the changes to, bolding, underlining, italicizing. Now if we come back over, we are on section 5, which is to introduce the product. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this stuff all over, paste it in here, and throughout the rest of this video I'm not going to go through the whole bolding and underlining thing. I'm assuming you guys know to do that when it should happen. So if we come back here, I had proudly introducing and then a cover of my book. Now I use some sort of a fancy graphic here for proudly introducing, but honestly you don't need to do that. I saw absolutely no difference in conversions using that graphic. So I mean, if I were going to go back through that, I would just come to here and I would write out proudly introducing. Then we would want to center it, bold it, make it probably font size 5, maybe 6. We'll play with that in a little bit. Let's actually put a proudly introducing ... in there. And then also let's change the color to, let's go with the red and see how that looks. Then right underneath that, oops. Oh, gotta love it when you mess with code. There we go. Right underneath that, what we're going to do is we're going to leave an image to the book. Now I actually used TinyPic again for the book image, and I've already uploaded my book image to TinyPic, so I'm just going to grab that code right there that says image code for forums and message boards, and I'm going to come back over to here, and I'm going to paste that in and make sure we center it. Okay, now that we've got all that done, we could go ahead and select preview post and see what it looks like. So here's what it looks like now. You got your headline, subheadline, buy button goes there. So far all looks pretty good. Now we got proudly introducing and viral blogging blueprint book cover right there. Looking at this, I do want to make proudly introducing bigger. So I'm going to come back down here and we're going to change this. Let's try font size 7 and see what that looks like. That looks much better in my opinion, so we're going to go ahead and leave that at font size 7. Now we're going to come back to here. Looks like the next section is the buy button. So I'm going to come back over to here and do the same thing we did last time. Buy button goes here. And I'm going to center it. Okay. The next section is explain what they get. And same thing right here. I used the fancy image for here's what you get. Saw absolutely no difference in conversions, so that's really not needed. I'll just type out the here's what you get thing again. So I'm going to copy this stuff over, paste it in. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about bolding and underlining and all that stuff right now. If I were doing this for reals, I would go through and I would bold and underline where it needs to be, bolded and underlined. So now we have to put in here's what you get. So I'm going to type in, oops, here's what you get. We are going to center that, bold it, make it red. And again, if you want to test out the colors, the only thing I definitely want you guys to make red is the headline. Other than that, if you want to test out colors and sizes for your subheadlines like this, feel free to. So now that I wrote here's what you get, centered it, bolded it, made it red. Actually, I think I forgot to change the font size. Okay, so let's go ahead and change the font size to font size 7. Okay. Once we get that done, head back over to our text over here, and just copy all this and paste it over. Okay, now we are on section 8, which is explain the value and usefulness. So just copy this and paste it over. So you can see this is very basic so far, a lot easier than most people think. Section 9 is a buy button, so we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. Buy button goes here, center that, and put in the I'll see you on the inside. Again, you don't have to put that if you don't want to. Let's see, go back here. Now it's time for a refund policy. Go ahead and copy that and paste it on over. Now one thing I do like doing is bolding the refund policy. That way, you know, people can't say I was trying to hide it. So I like to make the words refund policy bold, because I didn't do that one time and somebody called me out on saying I was trying to hide it, even though it was clearly stated right there. But ever since I got called out on that, I just like to make sure it's very clearly stated. That way, in case somebody tries to call me out again, I could just say it's right there in bold. No reason you should have missed it. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview what all this looks like now. You can scroll through. It all looks pretty nice. Again, this stuff would be bolded, some more things underlined. I'm not going to worry about that right now. One thing we want to do now that we got all of that done is I want to go ahead and change the font size of the actual text of the sales copy. You know, these things are font size 7 and whatnot, but we actually want to make all this font size 4, because right now it's kind of small. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start right here where it says from the desk of. I'm going to go down and make it font size 4, and we're going to go ahead and preview that. Okay, so it all looks good. The reason I changed the font size last instead of as I'm going is just because it makes the code a lot cleaner. So if I need to go through and edit anything, it just makes it a lot cleaner. If I changed it, you know, every single step of the way, then I would have to go through and change the font size if I need to edit anything every step of the way, and that would get really annoying. And since you've already set font size 7 for these things, it's not going to change the font size of those. So it makes it really easy to do. Now that you've got that put together, go ahead and read through it. Please make sure you read through it. Make sure there's no errors. If you need to change anything around at the last second, go ahead and do it right now. Once you're happy with it, go ahead and click the submit new thread. I'm not going to do that right now because this is a thread I've already submitted. But once you finish it all, just click submit new thread, and it's going to pop up basically saying, you know, your thread needs to be approved. At the moment, it takes about 24 hours for your thread to get approved. You know, a couple months ago, it took them 5-6 hours tops. But now it's taking about 24 hours. So you definitely want to make sure you do this step of submitting your sales thread a good 48 to 72 hours before your planned launch date. Because if you don't, you're going to be very stressed out. That happened to Shane and I recently. We thought we could get away with submitting our thread 12 hours in advance, and sure enough, launch time came and our thread still wasn't approved. So needless to say, that caused quite a bit of stress. We want you guys to avoid that stress, so make sure you get it submitted 48 to 72 hours early. Okay, once you get it submitted, you could go ahead and move on to the next video. So I will see you guys over there. Bye.